This is Cal Kellogg, and I'm inviting you to join me at Collins Lake aboard the FHS pontoon boat. Look at all these big, beautiful Collins Lake trout we've caught over the past year. The lake level is up, fall trout plants are underway, and I've got a lot of availability for instructional trout fishing trips. Go on over to fishhuntshoot.com. Book your trip today, and we'll be yelling fish on tomorrow. Wow, big, beautiful trout. Where'd you get that fish on, Gina?
PowerBait.
Rainbow PowerBait. Yeah, that's a nice 2-pound rainbow there. We just pulled the patio boat up on shore. I'm going to take a little break from trolling and fish on just that fast. On the PowerBait. Oh, nice trout.
Yeah, he's beautiful.
Let me get him in the net here. Woo, right there. Pull the line out of the reel there, babe. Look at that beautiful trout. Look at that trout, guys. Collins Lake, baby. PowerBait. We pulled in for lunch. That's a 3-pound rainbow right there. Howdy, guys. Cal Kellogg here. Got a viewer question today. Question from Raymond down in Walnut Creek, California. He's a longtime viewer of the channel. He saw the footage that I opened this video with, my wife Gina reeling in those 2 big chunky Collins Lake rainbows that she caught while fishing PowerBait last week. And he wanted to know if I rig up for PowerBait fishing, if I'm fishing from a boat, differently than I'd rig up for PowerBait fishing if I were fishing from the bank. And the answer is no, Raymond, I do not. Everything starts when you're fishing PowerBait, everything starts with a spinning rod. A wide array of rods will work, but what you want about a 7-foot to 8-foot rod, and you want either a fast or kind of a medium fast action. You want some play in the tip, some sensitivity, but you want enough backbone that you can cast with. Sometimes you want to cast, you know, way over towards shore or way over there. So it's good to be able to cast a fairly long distance. You don't always have to cast a long distance, but you know, if you want to cast a long distance, you want to be able to do that. This particular rod is balanced with an Abu Garcia S spinning reel. It's an inexpensive reel. You don't need an expensive reel, but you need a reel with a good smooth drag. You're going to be running, you know, fairly light leader material, and you don't want to lose a big old trout because you've got a drag that sticks and pauses when a fish tries to run out some line. And you know, let's face it, here in the foothills, you could hook up with an 8, 10, 12-pound rainbow, so you want a drag that's capable of wearing a big fish like that down. So let's talk a little bit about the line I'm spooled up with, and then we'll get into the end tackle that I'm using. This reel is spooled up with 10-pound test braid. You can use light braid. You can use 6-pound monofilament, 8-pound monofilament, even 10-pound monofilament. It's very forgiving in terms of the weight of the line that you're using. Let's get on to end tackle. So this rod, set that down there, I'm back. This rod, here's the main line. It comes down to a sliding sinker, in this case an egg sinker. I actually prefer to use the bullet-shaped bass fishing weights. They tend to hang up less, but egg sinkers work just fine. I've got an egg sinker right there. I've got a bead, and then I have a snap swivel on the line. To that snap swivel, I have about 20 inches of 6-pound test fluorocarbon line. That's my leader. And I have a small octopus hook on the end of that leader attached via a Palomar knot. Now let me grab some PowerBait and I will show you how to bait up that hook and how much PowerBait to use. PowerBait's expensive, so you don't want to waste it, and there's really no benefit to using a big, huge glob of PowerBait. Let me grab my bait. Got my bait right here. I've got this awesome, this kind of yellow and pink, very bright colored bait, but this bottle of bait, $6.30. So again, you don't want to be wasting it. If you've never fished with PowerBait, it's buoyant and trout really like it. It floats up off the bottom. It's going to float up off the bottom with that sliding sinker rig. So here's how I bait up. You just open up the jar, get some bait on your finger. I do about that much right there. Set this jar down. Don't leave the lid off too long. You don't want your bait to dry out. And you know, it's like Play-Doh. Remember when we were kids? Just take that, just rub it around and around and around she goes until you have a nice round ball of bait. Just like that. Okay, that bait is probably about 1/4 inch in diameter, maybe just a little bit more, just enough to cover that hook. So take your hook, take that octopus hook. Some guys like to use trebles. There's nothing wrong with that, but I've never really felt I needed to use a treble. Trout tend to swallow this. They swim off. You've got them. Octopus hooks, they hook and hold just fine. Bait stays on them just fine. So take your ball of bait, take your hook, insert the tip of your hook into the bait, just like that. Start to kind of bring that bait around, and then just kind of start forming it around the eye and the shank of that hook. Make sure it's on there nice and tight, nice and firm. Work it down. That's it. Perfectly baited with power bait. Just enough bait to cover the hook. You're going to cast that out, okay? You get that, you catch up with that sinker. You're going to cast that out. You're going to let it sink to the bottom, and you're going to fish it on a slack line. Leave 2-3 feet of slack in your line. That bait is going to float straight up off the bottom. Trout is going to come by. He's going to smell it. He's going to see it. He's going to mess with it a little bit. He's going to gulp it down. He's going to swim off, and that slack line is going to pay out through that sliding sinker. He's not going to feel, you know, much resistance, if he feels any resistance at all. But when he gets to the end of that line, guess what? It's going to tighten up. That hook's going to pull out of that ball of power bait. He's going to be hooked. You're going to pick up the rod and maybe give him just a little hook set and start reeling, and it's going to be fish on, baby. When you're fishing for planted rainbow trout, and they're not biting lures, power bait is one of the most effective offerings you can use. A lot of research and development went into that bait. Rainbow trout, particularly planted rainbow trout, absolutely love it. It is deadly. That's it for now. I hope that helps all you guys out as you go out looking for trout this, late this fall and into winter and into early spring even. A lot of trout fishing opportunities are popping up. They're planted Collins Lake, Comanche, Amador, all the usual suspects are being planted. So get yourself a spinning rod, get yourself some power bait, and whether you're fishing from the boat or fishing from the bank, it's a great option. And remember, if you're out trolling and it's not happening on lures, don't be afraid to beach your boat or anchor your boat. Get out some power bait, put it on, and give it a try, because it can be a black and white difference. If they're not hitting trolling gear, sometimes the bite is wide open on power bait, and that's what my wife Gina found. We're struggling a little bit. We trolled for a couple hours that day. We didn't really get anything. We stopped to eat lunch, started tossing out the power bait, and it was fish on, and then I made her leave because I didn't want to beat those fish up. I'm Kel Kellogg. If you're looking for gear, fish, hunt, shoot. .com. I'll catch you later, guys. Have a great day.